together. So I remember walking into the gym at Sonoma and seeing all these volleyball players, and this big guy with moles on his face was kind of cute, but he was older, and that was the first time we met. And then through college, we were just kind of friends. We ran in the same circle.
There's a lot of great pictures of Taylor and her friends at parties and me in the background, my head towering over other people. But we always knew of each other, but never really thought anything of each other.
Yeah, we didn't actually start dating until after college. Phil was in town for a wedding, and that's when we hung out for the first time, got a beer, and it was the best date of my life. When Phil first asked me out on a date, it was just to catch up, and
it was on Instagram.
It was on Instagram. There's actual proof of it happening. And we went and got beers, and afterwards I can still feel in my stomach the butterflies I had when he dropped me off at home after getting beers, and I, like a movie, stood against the door and slid down the door and just thought, that was the best date of my whole life. But it's Phil. And I was really confused, and then I knew I wanted to hang out with him again, so we hung out a couple days later, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to say no ever again right then.
We had hung out together with some friends at a volleyball tournament a couple months before that first date, and I just remember thinking, oh, Taylor's really cute, and she's not that crazy sorority girl that I remember from when she was a freshman anymore.
I don't think I was ever a crazy sorority girl.
A little bit.
Okay, maybe a little.
So when I had the chance, I saw her, she posted a picture of something on Instagram, like, hey, you want to hang out sometime, or want to catch up? And she got my number from a mutual friend, and the rest is history. I couldn't believe that she was so amazing that first date. It was so great.
Stop! You're gonna cry.
It's a good story. So we became a couple shortly after that date that Taylor described at the brewery. We started talking all the time, but I was living in San Diego and she was still up in the Bay Area. And we tried to do the long distance thing, but after a few months, I got cold feet and called things off. So Taylor proceeded...
Glad you can be honest about that.
I did. Taylor proceeded to get a boyfriend for a couple months, and then we were both going to be coaching at the same volleyball tournament, and we realized that we should probably make nice before we showed up. And when we went, we just hit it off again, and it was great.
I just remember getting dinner at the volleyball tournament that we were both coaching at, and sitting across from him eating sushi, which still is both of our favorite foods, and thinking, what the hell are we doing not being together? We are either the stupidest people for not being together, or we were just being so stupid not being together, I felt like, because it just worked. It was easy. I enjoyed his company all the time, and after that volleyball tournament, we were talking again, and it was about 3 months later, or so, and Phil was in Vegas for his best man's, actually, his wedding at the time, or his bachelor party at the time, and I was obsessively texting him and was confused because he had introduced me to his family as, this is Taylor, and I was like, whoa, like, what are we? I'm so confused. And him in Vegas was like, well, I was gonna tell you this when we were back together, like in the same place, but will you be my girlfriend? So he asked me out on the first date over Instagram and asked me to be his girlfriend via text. All because of my fault, but it was the best question besides will you marry me that I've ever been asked. The first time I said I love you was after we had been dating for like 9 months or so. I just remember that we were at my house in San Diego, and I think I was frustrated with Phil about something, and I was like, I'm frustrated, but I love you, and I don't know like how to deal with this feeling because I've never felt like this about someone, and I'm frustrated, and I cried, of course, and
You always do that.
always, and I told him that I was pretty sure that he was not ready to say I love you back to me. He is a very logical, thoughtful person, has to really think about things before he says them or does them. But I knew that me telling Phil that I loved him was exactly how I felt, and I had to say it. And it felt really good to tell him because I felt like I'd been holding it in for a while.
The first time I said I love you, we were having kind of a rough day, and I just realized that even though things weren't great that day, I couldn't imagine spending my life with anybody else, and I just realized that I loved her so much, and I just had to tell her right then.
And then I cried again.
Yes, you did. I think I knew Taylor was the one long before I said I love you, but it made me really nervous. I didn't know how she felt back, and even when she said it, I was like, I don't think so. I don't think she actually means it. I think she'll realize that she doesn't really love me and move on. But I knew because she just was so caring and so honest, and it just made me so happy to be with her all the time.
Don't make me cry. I knew, I think there was a part of me that knew after our first date that Phil was going to be the one. I think that there was a big part of me that was like in denial. Like, you can't know that he's the one after the first date. Like, that only happens in movies. But I don't remember who it was. It was probably multiple people. But I have memories of like telling people like, oh no, like this guy's pretty special. Like, I have weird feelings. Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to handle this.
That's just your upset stomach.
Or just my upset stomach. I don't know. Similar feelings. But I think I knew probably around my birthday, the year that it was my first year in San Diego, away from my family, and I just realized that I was at home with this person, and I think I had called my mom, or she was talking to me on my birthday, and I was really sad that I wasn't with her. And she was like, but that's your new family, like that's your new home. And it just like really hit me that Phil was my home, that Phil was my family, and I didn't ever want that to change. So
that was a much better answer than mine. So the proposal started as I had a work event up in Encinitas where we had to get a little dressed up to go to this event and kind of schmooze with some possible clients, and that wasn't totally out of the ordinary because I was taking on kind of a role doing that at my office. So I told her that we were going to go up a little early to see my old roommate Jeremy, and we got in the car. I was like, oh, we should probably text Jeremy to see if he's going to be home before we go.
Pissed.
And he wasn't home.
Pissed.
So I told her, oh, we'll just go up to Carlsbad and go watch the sunset, and then we'll go to dinner.
So we get to Carlsbad right at the grassy patch, and I'm freezing, as usual. And Phil's like, let's get out, watch the sunset. And I was like, nah, it's too cold. And he was like, no, get out of the car, we're gonna watch the sunset. So I get out of the car, we're standing at the railing, looking over at the beach and the sunset. And it's all kind of a little bit of a blur. I mean, the things you said were really nice, but I think I might have blacked out a little. But he asked me, what is it that you love about the sunset, like what do you love about me? And I just started like rambling off like the 3 things that I love about him or whatever. And then Phil started talking about all the things that he loves about me, and all of a sudden I turn and look, and his hand is going into his jacket pocket, and out comes the box, and I was like, whoa, this is really happening. And Phil got down on one knee, and in like 0.3 seconds he said, will you marry me? And I was jumping up and down, so excited, and I said, yes, of course. Just totally in shock that it was really happening. We had been talking about it, but I didn't even know that he was really thinking about doing it.
So after we had some pictures taken by some people that were walking by, I told Taylor that we did still have this dinner event to go to, and she really wanted to call her parents, but she had given me her phone earlier to hold. So I was like, no, let's just wait. Let's go to this thing, get a glass of wine, and then we can tell them, and then they'll understand why we're not around calling people on the phone. So
I was pissed. I really wanted to call my parents and tell them.
So we drive down to Lucadia and kind of take a long time to find a parking spot. We finally park and walk in, and when we walk into the restaurant, both of our families were there. Taylor's mom didn't want to know beforehand, so her dad and I coordinated a surprise for her. And then my brother flew in from Seattle, and Taylor's brother trained in from Santa Barbara, and we all had a big dinner as a family there. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I was a blubbering mess, like whining, crying, sobbing, blubbering. And so we're sitting at dinner, and I'm starting to call people and send pictures of the ring and of the sunset, and super excited. And I'm calling our friends John and Jessica, I'm calling my coworker, I'm calling all of our friends. Phil's calling his cousins and family and stuff, and then Phil tells me, oh, well, you know, John and Jessica were holding on to the ring, so they really want to be like the first people we go and like celebrate with besides our families and get drinks with. So he's telling me that, oh, we're gonna go to this brewery, and I'm like, okay, can my family come? Like, I can't believe that they're here. Like, oh my gosh, like, so he's like, yeah, sure. So we drive, and as we pull in, this brewery is really small, and he's like, oh, it's super crowded, so we have to go to the back. Like, they're in the back. We walk in, there's like maybe 2-3 people there. I was so confused, but he's like dragging me into the back, and we get all the way to the back, and all of a sudden I look up, and it's all of our friends, all of our cousins, everybody was there, and I'm a blubbering mess all over again. I'm in shock that all these people knew, and I had no idea. It turned out like everybody in our life, including my coworkers, had all known for a month, if not more, that Phil was gonna propose, and it was the happiest day of my life.
And the videos are pretty funny too.
The videos are pretty good. Hi, Phil. First, I love you. This has been, I'm sure, a fabulous day, but what I'm most looking forward to is tomorrow, when I wake up as Mrs. Brault, when I wake up as your wife, and when I wake up as your partner. And I am the luckiest person in the whole world, because I get to be by your side and have you by my side through this journey of our life. And I cannot wait to have kids with you. I cannot wait to grow old with you. I cannot wait to travel with you, like in like 5 days. I can't wait to get new jobs with you. I can't wait to get fired with you. I can't wait to be sad with you, to be happy with you. I am looking forward to every single moment of our lives together. And I am the luckiest person because I get you to support me and to love me, and I get to support you and love you for the rest of our lives. Love you.
Taylor, I am so excited to be marrying you, and I can't believe we're finally here. It's been an amazing ride the last few years with you, and I can't imagine spending that time and the rest of my life with anybody else. You're so caring, so loving, so kind to everybody. Put yourself last, and I can't imagine somebody I'd rather spend the rest of my life with, because you are just you, and I've known since we first went on our first date that you were special and that I couldn't just let you go. And it means so much to me to be sitting here with you today, taking on the next chapter, the next adventure, and I can't wait to see where it leads us. I love you, Taylor.
So we just want to say thank you and show our love for all of you who have supported us over the years, for making each of us into the people that we are, for teaching us lessons when we needed them, for loving us and hugging us when we needed that, and for having faith in both of us and supporting us through the tough times, the long distance. And my family, thank you for letting me move so far away, and really making the trips often and making me feel like you're really not that far away.
Yeah, we really couldn't have done it without everybody who's here, and we really appreciate everything you've done for us over the years, and thank you for your support. It really means a lot.
Thank you.